Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to do something a little different. Normally, we're showing race recaps and things like that. Unfortunately, my Monza races in F4 this week have been challenging, maybe is the best word to use. I'll say that in the nicest way possible. I'll show you a couple clips of some of the accidents and stuff that I've been involved in that just have not given any great videos to be presented to you, unfortunately. So today I thought, you know what, let's make something out of these guys, and we'll just make a short video showing some of the accidents, and not going to do a whole lot of analysis. I don't know that much needs to be done, so we'll just take a look at these. It's been an unfortunate week. I'm below 3K for the first time in a while. My safety rating has plummeted as well. As you can kind of see, the guy behind me didn't seem to be too interested in trying to pass me. Instead, for some reason, he was bump drafting me. At least that's what I thought. I thought that in the moment because he was making no effort to try to get around me, but you could see he was clearly making contact. You can look at his nose actually in the rear view, and it's all scuffed up. I'm not sure that he realizes that these pointy noses and little gearboxes don't match up very well. So we kind of go through Parabolica here. Everything gets much more interesting and spicy on the front stretch. As he was making no communication, wasn't really telling me what's going on. But you can see he's right on my tail, making contact, and then finally takes the nose to the gearbox on the straight at Monza. First, I mean, even just watching it back, it's pain. It's just pain. I don't understand the thought process. I was asking him what the thought process was in that moment. I didn't get a response immediately. I think later on he did mention something about bump drafting, which conceptually, I get it, but at the same time, like, we're in a pub, and I don't know you, and you're not communicating with me whatsoever. So the concept of bump drafting, maybe not the greatest thing to do in an official race with somebody you don't know. Just keep that one in your back pocket, boys. So this next race was actually going pretty well. Everybody had been relatively chill and casual up until this point. This is the final lap, so everything gets spicy, of course. The two guys in front of me have been pretty aggressive, blocking, weaving, doing things like that. But, at the end of the day, nothing crazy. Monza being a draft-happy track, you're going to stay with people that maybe you wouldn't normally. The guy behind me had been pretty chill the entire race as well. A little bit of a dive bomb going into turn one, but nothing crazy. He didn't actually send it at the replay. We kind of saw at this point, obviously, he was going to be super aggressive. Got another tap right there into this corner. Definitely knew something was coming. So at this point, I'm just trying to maintain. Would love to finish with just a 2x at Monza after the race that I just had. Didn't have a great corner there. Went in to try to block. He went with me. And as we came back to make the 50 marker, it looks like he got into the back of me. So that one, honestly, not a huge deal. It's the end of the race. He's going for a move. I was going to play defense. He went with me. Not a big deal, but kind of sucks. Add a 4x to it. And yeah, at least we get about a top 10 out of that race. Could have been a little bit better. It just kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth when you finish the race like that. I could have been a little bit more conservative, I think, and not tried to play defense. But if you kind of look at it in sequence, we basically went in together before the 50 marker. He was trying to make the move. I was trying to cover off that line. We went at pretty much the exact same time, and it just kind of didn't work out. I think he missed his braking marker a little bit, if I'm being honest. I started braking it to 50 like I normally do, and we were tight into the race. Kind of goes that way, but yeah, like I said, it just leaves a bad taste in your mouth when a race ends that way. So on to the next. So the next incident I wanted to show you really isn't a big deal, but it was one of those races where it was pretty casual. The first lap obviously was a little crazy. My mentality at this point is I'm just trying to finish a race without a lot of incident points. Currently at 1x for going off track there. And really, I'm just trying to run my own race. I don't care too much about some of the numbers, but at the end of the day, like it takes a mental toll, I think, when you are just constantly dealing with bad races. And even the race we just looked at, it wasn't a bad race. I still finished top 10, but that, at least for me, just having some of those contacts really, it sticks with you. And when you compound that by having a few of those in a row, it just gets to be really frustrating. So yeah, I was at this point really just trying to stay in the back and just trying to kind of mind my own business and get through a race without a lot of incident. Don't care about finishing top 5, top 10, whatever it was. We still end up in a pretty good position in this race, by the end of it, but really just trying to have a clean race. So going into turn 1 has been pretty much the case in every race I've been at Monza this week. There's always some contact. You can kind of see it off in the distance. I certainly saw it really early. Tried to go through here really slow, and unfortunately got collected in, they had already had the accident, trying to get out of it themselves, keep going. And I thought about taking that access road. In hindsight, it would have been a good idea to do that. Certainly could have just taken the off track, taken the slowdown, and been okay. Unfortunately, I got collected in that a little bit. Again, this doesn't completely destroy my race. I'm not out of the race and finishing 10 laps down and whatever, but it adds to the frustration. Looking back at these, a day or so after the fact, it's interesting to have the mentality now versus how I felt about it in the moment. In the moment, I'm super frustrated, and it builds upon. You'll see. We're not going to watch this whole race, but you'll see that I just keep adding 1x's as I go because my frustration level is through the roof. After previous races, previous incidents, they continue to compound on one another. So, been a rough week at Monza thus far. Unfortunately, it doesn't get much better. So, we'll take a look at one more and then we'll call it for the day. This is my final race of the week, at least so far at Monza. Still debating whether I want to go back for another. This is actually probably one of the best races for me this week. And again, this was the final race. I'm starting at the back. I just want to stay out of everybody else's business, run my own race, have a clean race. We're only 5 laps in, but hey, at least at this point we have a 0x. Again, just trying to stay out of other people's business. The race itself was wild. It's a pretty high strength of field, middle of the day, because it's the holidays in the U.S., so I'm off work. So middle of the day, pretty high strength of field. A lot of folks from Europe in this race. Very quick people. I'm not anywhere on that spectrum. You can see on the 17 car. But anyway, there's one accident already in turn 1. One guy spun himself off. I see this happen really quickly. And just like the last incident, the accidents happen. I get there late because I'm in the back, and these guys are basically trying to get themselves situated. So the guy in blue was sitting on top of another car, backed up, trying to get off, ran into me. I took a good amount of damage in that event. You can see the steering wheel is a little cross. It didn't seem like he actually took much damage, which was wild to me. He was on top of another car and then gearbox directly into mine, and it didn't seem to bother him, which was super strange. My car was struggling. I was just trying to get through these corners to get back and get situated. Knowing I had a fast repair, just get the fast repair, still only have a 4x, and let's just get through the rest of this race. The race itself actually turned out pretty well. I may actually put this up and post this specific race, but I just wanted to show the incident. So kind of looking back at it, now that I've kind of been able to look at some of these incidents with fresh eyes, there's a lot of things I could have done differently. I think especially in the two cases, and these guys keep going at it, which is just wild. But in the two cases where I was coming on to an incident late, in turn 1 that I got collected in, I think in both cases, the access road is a no-brainer. I don't really, especially given the context, right? I'm sitting in 18th position, 15th position, or whatever it was in the previous race. I'm not fighting for position. This is not a battle to win a race or whatever. This is just trying to have a clean race to kind of restore some confidence to actually race clean and closely again. So yeah, I think a slam dunk decision would have been to just get in there, take the access road, take the slowdown, take the 1x, whatever it is, and just move on with my day. But again, it's this kind of continual building of frustration after just constantly being involved in some of these incidents. And truly, after these races, my interest level in running F4 in the pubs for this week is just completely shot. I think I haven't done one since. I'm not sure that I'll do another one. I mean, if you look at some of these instances, it's kind of like, why would you? When I have such good, clean, interesting races in my league race every week. And, last night I ran an F3 race that you'll see at Okayama that was just fantastic. I mean, it was, battling for like a top 10 position, something that space. And it was just clean racing, like the entire way. I finished a race where I was within half a second in either direction of someone, battles constantly through the entire race at Okayama for 30 minutes, and I finished with a 0x. And that says a whole lot more about the people around me than it does me. And the racing was just unbelievable. So it's a challenge to have a couple races like this in the F4 car that should be easier to race and should be easier to have control over, and then go to the F3 car that should be more difficult and have one of the best races you've ever had in your life. It's a challenge to find the motivation to go back to F4. So yeah, I just wanted to show you guys kind of some of the make something out of these 4 videos that I'm unlikely to post. Maybe this one, but certainly not the others. There was just nothing really to get from those. So thought we'd make something out of it, at least have something to talk about and show. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you thought about this, and I'll catch you later.